was at a gathering of black men and boys on Saturday morning called Breakfast for Brothers. And they get together once a month. They talk to these young men and with these young men about becoming men. In a lot of cases, the kids there, and indeed the adults there, grew up without a man in the household. And they talk about that, and they get these young men to express themselves and also understand that the expectations of them are high by the men in the room. And so some of that social engagement, for lack of a better term, that very human community taking responsibility for its community members is also, I think, a part of the solution. And bit by bit, it's happened.
Let's go back to the calls. Governor Deval.
There was a moment where a young man, they were making announcements, and it was a young man who apparently had been in some trouble. And he stood up and he said, "I have a birthday coming up, and I just want to announce that, and I want a cake." And we kind of laughed at first. And I looked over at Matt, and Matt started tearing up. And he started breathing heavily, and he said, this brother felt empowered to ask for something maybe nobody has ever cut a cake for. It was the first time the kid had been there, but he felt safe, and he felt like he was somewhere where when he asked for something, people were listening. And that's when I realized that it was something very powerful that we were part of, something that empowered this young man and something that made the young man feel safe. And it made me feel like I was really a part of something that I needed to be a part of.
My name is John Matthew Borders IV from Dorchester, Massachusetts, and I am the proud founder of Body Snatchers Ministries Incorporated, under which Breakfast for Brothers falls. Breakfast for Brothers was started December 2013 after having a conversation with a very, very good man by the name of Michael McDonald. Michael's a mentor. Michael works in education space, takes a lot of young men outside of the classroom, even into his own home, shares with he and his family their personal resources, and was funding a lot of this work out of his own pocket. And after having this conversation and sharing with Mike, seeing his heart for the work, I asked him, I was like, how many other guys like this are doing this kind of work? And he started going down a list of other men that he knew, sharing in these same kind of experiences. In doing so, I said, why don't we find a way to come together and try to share some of these conversations, these experiences, these talks together over a meal versus you just coming out of your pocket. I'll see if I can pull some money. I'll see if we can talk to this business owner, talk to this brother, talk to this foundation, and see if we can get some more money for it. In doing so, was able to meet some amazing people, one of whom is Natanya Craig at the Boston Foundation. Sat down with her, talked about the vision for the work. She was able to give us a small grassroots grant, and we were able to start Breakfast for Brothers. The vision behind Breakfast for Brothers is promoting cross-generational dialogue for men of color, concentrating on men of color, but not limited to, allowing them a chance to engage, build community, foster relationships, diversify their network, understand their own self-worth. It's unlike anything you've experienced. The energy in the room is crazy. The optimism associated with it, purity in Breakfast for Brothers is something I have yet to experience.
I was raised with my mother and my father for the first few years of my life until my father was sent away to prison. And then for the rest of my life, I remained living with my mom. Situations happen. I can't just sit in self-pity of it. I had to do a few things differently. It transformed my life a lot. It just showed me different things in life and how to be a strong young man and not let things pass you by. If you want something, you have to go for it no matter what. And there's people in your community that can help you get to what you're trying to reach.
So on the second Saturday of every month, locally here in Boston, at the Mattahunt Community Center, Executive Director Rashad Cope, we come together and we have different conversations about life, about current events, about vulnerability, about relationships, about personal finances, about spirituality, about your faith, about politics, about poverty, about promise, about prosperity. It's unlike anything you've experienced.
So I just went one Saturday morning, dragged myself out of bed, and it was the best drag out of bed Saturday morning that I've had. I went there, and it nourished not only my body, it nourished my mind and spirit to see these brothers together, really, really open to one another, really, really genuine. It was really refreshing.
You grow so much just being there. You meet new people. You see different aspects of different situations. You see different aspects of life. You see how life could pass you by, and it just helps you and structures you to be a great young man.
A sense of purpose. We are all here to contribute something, and sometimes we don't understand how much we can contribute and how much anybody can give us.
I wasn't the best student. I was just slacking. I was like, oh, I got a D. At least I ain't fail. But being there, they helped you like, no, you gotta strive to get like the best grades you could get, which showed me I gotta go harder.
It's a broad spectrum. I mean, you have gentlemen in the room ranging in age from probably about 5 to 75 years old. You have fathers come with their sons. You have grandfathers who are present. You have men who, recently incarcerated who are coming just looking for community. You have clergy, you have police, you have entrepreneurs, you have politicians, those aspiring running for office, you have athletes, entertainers. You have the range of who we are as people, who we are as men are present and represented in the room. All of the men who attend Breakfast for Brothers all understand personal responsibility and all understand that they are a part of something larger. It's remarkable.
It's not just an organization. It's not just an establishment. It's a movement. It's a movement to go out to feed people and to make people feel safe and give people a platform. And the people who are a part of this, they come from so many different backgrounds. But when you sit down with them, nobody's trying to be, there's not this structured hierarchy that makes people feel that they have to wait to raise their hand or wait to raise their voice. And then it's only after that you found out that you were sitting next to somebody who was a decorated police officer, or somebody who is in politics, or somebody who's in the school system.
My mom, she's seen my communication grow stronger since I attended Breakfast for Brothers. She says I've been maturing and I don't like to just hang out all the time, and I actually like study, take my time with things. No matter what, just don't limit yourself to anything. If you want to be a rapper, you could be a rapper, but you also can be an entrepreneur, a doctor, a surgeon. There's different sections that you could go into while rapping at the same time. There's no limit to anything you want to do.
It's a give and take relationship. Breakfast for Brothers, you come, you attend, you receive a breakfast, you receive conversations, you receive love, but you're also challenged to give that as well. You're challenged to give your ear, you're challenged to give your perspective, you're challenged to give your opinion on different aspects of the work, different aspects of life, of whatever conversations we're delving into. And it's an amazing opportunity for men to share. In thinking about the work of Breakfast for Brothers, after initially seeing the work that Michael McDonald was doing, as well as others, the relationships I have with mentees, the relationships I've had with mentors who've given me access to doors that would not have been opened otherwise. We wanted to pool these resources, to get the human capital in the room, to get brothers able to identify who they are, understanding their self-worth, dealing with the social, emotional issues of many instances, challenging these brothers, challenging these men to dig deeper, to give more, and to understand their purpose and context. What I mean by that is, no man is an island. It's not just about me, it's not just about you.
It's a place you could go to communicate, express ideas on recent things that happened, feed off of the energy that people around you is giving off. So if you have 10 people who's in the streets and you're the only one trying to play ball or go to college, you're going to suddenly see oh, they're all in the streets. I'm not going to be the outcast. I'm going to be in the streets too. So if you have 10 entrepreneurs around you, you're going to be like, dang, I see how life has changed for them and how they're living. So you're going to want to live just like them.
It's a place where it is happening. I think that we're redefining and we're reshaping the narrative. This is happening all across the country. You have brothers who are solid, brothers who are trying to lift themselves up, and sisters who are doing the same thing. I think, unfortunately, when you have brothers who have fallen victim to not knowing who they are, that's a better news story. That's going to get more views. It's an unfortunate thing, but we can't be discouraged, and that's what I'm talking about when I go to Breakfast for Brothers. I'm saying, wow, the news might have me believe that there's only one or two of us out here, and we're together, and there are a lot of us out here.
Have a chance to have a very strong conversation with people your age, people younger than you, and people older. So it's I could influence people younger than me see the same aspects as people my age, but also learn from the people that's older.
Breakfast for Brothers has been an awesome experience to be a part of, and we've seen the demand grow. In having conversations with other brothers who are from out of town, other brothers who are in different cities, we've actually had some men who are part of Breakfast for Brothers who've had to take on different career opportunities or moved away to start families, who've had conversations about wanting to start Breakfast for Brothers in different cities. It's exciting. People want to experience B4B.
This has been a very organic, genuine experience. It feels like it's led by spiritual need, and we don't shy away from that without being very specific to whatever your mode of worship is. It's saying that by coming together as men, young and old, that we are family.
It's an opportunity to expand your network. When we talk about network, so many times it's just transactional. Hey, here's my business card. This is what I do. And we don't talk about who we are. It's so easy to say, hey, my name's John and I do such and such. But what if you haven't found that thing yet? I would say, hey, my name's John and this is who I am. And at Breakfast for Brothers, those are the conversations we have. Who are you as a man? What kind of man are you? What kind of man do you aspire to be? And that's what we're looking for. Iron sharpens iron. The cool thing about iron is that iron is an element in and of itself. Iron doesn't need anything else to exist. So when iron sharpens iron, I'm able to recognize that by myself, I am me. But together we sharpen each other, and we're that much stronger. Our community is that much stronger.
It's really a human experience. It's about feeding people, it's about clothing people, it's about loving people and teaching them to love themselves and to love others. And I think that from that love, every positive thing that you can hope for humanity is going to come out. It's not just going to be brothers. It's going to be sisters. It's not just going to be Boston. It's not just going to be the United States. You know, it's going to be all over the world.
When I told my dad about me attending Breakfast with Brothers, he was very surprised. He's like, oh, well, that sounds like a good thing to do. He's telling me like how he wished they had a Breakfast with Brothers when he was coming up, because maybe he wouldn't be in the situation he was in. So he was just like very like happy for me and proud of me.
There have been young men in here who said, you know, I didn't know that this existed. I didn't know I could be this. I didn't know that this man did this. And he's from my neighborhood. He lives over here. I didn't know that this was an opportunity. I didn't know I had this choice, that this was an option. That's what Breakfast for Brothers is for.
Individually, you can be a star, but it lets you feel like you're part of a greater constellation. And when you see these little kids shine, you're like, you know, yeah, you know, I'm not out here alone in the darkness. There are a whole bunch of stars.
Breakfast for Brothers is an outlet. It's a place for you to plug in. It's a place for you to connect. Everybody at Breakfast for Brothers does not have it all together. I mean, as many successful men of color as you have in the room, there are some who very much so would deem themselves unsuccessful. A lot of brothers who are still trying to figure it out. A lot of brothers who are trying to find their way. We have enough resources among ourselves to be able to change the community, to change the lives of those around us. It's just being able to identify in a very practical way and have the courage enough to respond. And that's one of the things that we try to do at Breakfast for Brothers. We identify needs and we try to meet them.
My name is Robert Kenneth Raper Jr. I'm 15 years old. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I am your brother.
My name is Mike Scott. I'm 35 years old, and I'm your brother.
I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a man of God. I'm your brother. We all have something to offer to someone else, regardless of where we are on the spectrum in terms of our life stages, our age, our personal experience, our narrative, our story. Too often we're in these spaces where people are always talking to us. They're always talking to us. But you don't have many spaces where people are able to share their story, where people are able to talk about their personal experiences, their life lessons, the highs and lows of what they've experienced. Excuse me. And Breakfast for Brothers is an opportunity for those men to come together, for them to share their personal story and to be heard, to be affirmed, to be recognized. It's a very unique space, and I'm honored to be a part of it.